This is Max and Mia Podcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Max and Mia Podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. You know Max. I was just thinking about when I applied for my first scholarship back in college. I remember being so nervous that I practiced my answers in the mirror for weeks.
Oh wow, really? I actually had a completely different approach. I thought I could just wing it and be myself. Let me tell you, that was a mistake. I walked into that interview room totally unprepared and it showed.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, when they asked me, "Why do you deserve this scholarship?" I literally said, "Because I really need the money." I mean, it was honest, but definitely not what they were looking for.
That's actually kind of endearing though. But yeah, scholarship interviews can be really tricky. There's so much riding on them. Your education, your future, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not just about having good grades or being smart. You need to know how to present yourself, how to tell your story in a compelling way, and how to handle those tough questions they throw at you.
Which is exactly why we decided to dedicate today's entire episode to scholarship interviews. We're going to do something a bit different today.
That's right. We've prepared 3 mock scholarship interviews that cover different types of questions and scenarios you might encounter. Before each interview, we'll give you some key vocabulary that you absolutely need to know.
And after each interview, we'll break down what went well, what could be improved, and give you practical tips that you can use in your own scholarship interviews.
Whether you're applying for academic scholarships, need-based aid, or specialized grants, the skills we're covering today will help you feel more confident and prepared.
So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive into mastering the scholarship interview process.
All right, let's start with our first mock interview. This one is going to be a general academic scholarship interview, the kind you'd encounter for merit-based scholarships at most universities.
Before we jump in, let's go over some essential vocabulary you'll definitely want to know for any scholarship interview.
Vocabulary preview.
First up, academic pursuits. This refers to your educational goals, studies, and scholarly activities. For example, my academic pursuits include studying environmental science and conducting research on renewable energy.
Next, extracurricular involvement. These are activities outside of your regular classes, like clubs, sports, volunteering, or part-time jobs. Example, my extracurricular involvement includes being president of the debate club and volunteering at the local animal shelter.
Here's a big one, long-term aspirations. This means your future goals and dreams, especially career-wise. You might say, my long-term aspirations include becoming a pediatric nurse and opening a community health clinic.
Don't forget financial need. This refers to your family's economic situation and why you need financial assistance for college. For instance, due to my family's financial need, this scholarship would make the difference between attending university or taking a gap year to work.
And finally, contribution to the community. This is about how you give back or plan to give back to society. Example, I believe education should lead to contribution to the community, which is why I tutor younger students for free.
Great! Now that we've covered the key vocabulary, let's dive into our first interview. We'll be hearing from Sarah, a high school senior applying for a general academic scholarship.
Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for coming in today. Please have a seat and make yourself comfortable.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really excited to be here.
Wonderful. Let's start with the basics. Can you tell me a little about yourself and what brought you to apply for this scholarship?
Of course. I'm a senior at Lincoln High School, and I've been passionate about learning for as long as I can remember. I'm planning to major in biomedical engineering because I want to develop medical devices that can help people in underserved communities. This scholarship would be incredibly meaningful to me because it would allow me to focus on my academic pursuits without the stress of wondering how my family will afford tuition.
That's admirable. Tell me more about your academic background. What subjects do you excel in, and how have you challenged yourself academically?
I've maintained a 4.2 GPA throughout high school, with my strongest subjects being mathematics, chemistry, and physics. I've taken 5 AP courses, including AP Calculus BC and AP Chemistry. What I'm most proud of, though, is that I started a peer tutoring program at my school. I realized that many of my classmates were struggling with STEM subjects, so I organized study groups and one-on-one tutoring sessions. It's been running for 2 years now and has helped over 50 students improve their grades.
That's an impressive initiative. Now, beyond academics, what extracurricular involvement have you had?
My extracurricular involvement has been quite diverse. I'm the captain of our school's robotics team. We actually placed 3rd in the state competition last year. I'm also vice president of the National Honor Society and have been volunteering at the local children's hospital for the past 3 years. Every Saturday, I read to kids in the pediatric ward and help organize activities for them. Additionally, I work part-time at a local pharmacy, which has given me great insight into healthcare and how medications affect people's lives.
It sounds like you're very busy. How do you manage your time effectively?
Time management has definitely been crucial. I use a detailed planner and set specific goals for each week. I've learned to prioritize tasks based on deadlines and importance. The key for me has been finding activities that align with my interests and future goals, like working at the pharmacy and volunteering at the hospital. When you're passionate about what you're doing, it doesn't feel like such a burden.
Let's talk about challenges. Can you describe a significant obstacle you've faced and how you overcame it?
Absolutely. During my junior year, my father lost his job due to company downsizing. This created significant financial stress for our family, and I had to take on more work hours to help with expenses. My grades started to slip, and I was worried I wouldn't be able to maintain my academic standards. Instead of giving up, I reached out to my teachers and guidance counselor for support. I created a more structured study schedule, formed study groups with classmates, and learned to be more efficient with my time. Not only did I bring my grades back up, but I also realized how much I value education and how determined I am to pursue my goals despite obstacles.
That shows real resilience. Now, looking ahead, what are your long-term aspirations?
My long-term aspirations center around making healthcare more accessible. After earning my degree in biomedical engineering, I want to work for a company that develops affordable medical devices for developing countries. Eventually, I'd love to start my own nonprofit organization that provides these devices to communities that need them most. I've seen firsthand how lack of access to proper medical equipment can affect people's lives, and I want to be part of the solution.
That's a noble goal. Finally, if you receive this scholarship, how will you ensure that you make the most of this opportunity?
This scholarship would be transformative for me and my family. I would use it as motivation to maintain my high academic standards and continue my contribution to the community. I plan to get involved in research opportunities at university, join engineering societies, and continue volunteering in healthcare settings. I also want to mentor other students who might be facing similar challenges that I've experienced. I believe that when you're given an opportunity like this, you have a responsibility to use it not just for your own benefit, but to help others as well.
Thank you, Sarah. Those were excellent answers. We'll be in touch within the next 2 weeks with our decision.
Thank you so much for your time and consideration. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Wow, that was a fantastic interview example. Sarah really did an amazing job. What did you think, Max?
I loved how genuine she was. Right from the start, she showed enthusiasm and gratitude for the opportunity. That kind of energy creates a positive connection with the interviewer right away.
Absolutely. And what I really appreciated was how she didn't just list her achievements. She told stories, like when she talked about starting a peer tutoring program at her school. That wasn't just saying, "I'm a leader." That was showing leadership, initiative, and compassion.
Exactly. Show, don't tell. And the part where she opened up about her dad losing his job? That was powerful. She didn't sugarcoat it. She shared how it impacted her grades, how she had to take on more work hours, and how she bounced back by reaching out for support and creating a structured study plan.
That's what real resilience looks like. And something so many students forget, Sarah didn't try to be a superhero. She admitted she needed help and leaned on her teachers and counselor. That shows emotional intelligence and teamwork.
Another thing she did really well was keeping everything tied to her core passion: healthcare and biomedical engineering. Her strongest subjects were in STEM, her volunteer work was at a hospital, and her job at the pharmacy gave her real-world insight. Everything connected.
Yes. And her long-term goals were inspiring, but also practical. She wasn't just dreaming big. She had a clear plan to work in underserved communities, and even start a nonprofit one day.
And when the interviewer asked about how she'd used the scholarship, she didn't just say, "pay for college." She explained how it would reduce the financial burden on her family and allow her to focus on academics, research, and giving back.
So let's break it down for our listeners. Tip 1. Practice telling your stories out loud. Don't memorize, but get comfortable sharing real experiences in a natural way.
Tip 2. Show, don't tell. Use specific examples that demonstrate your qualities.
Tip 3. It's okay to be human. You can talk about struggles, as long as you also show how you overcame them.
And tip 4, stay focused on your central message. Sarah's was making healthcare more accessible, and every answer connected back to that.
That wraps up our breakdown of Sarah's awesome scholarship interview. Up next, we'll dive into a completely different interview style, so stick around.
Now let's shift gears completely. Our second interview focuses on athletic scholarships. These interviews have a unique dynamic because they're evaluating both your sports performance and your character as a student athlete.
Absolutely. Sports scholarships aren't just about being the fastest or strongest. Coaches want to know you can handle the pressure of balancing athletics with academics. Let's cover some essential vocabulary for athletic scholarship interviews.
Vocabulary preview.
First, team dynamics. This refers to how you work with teammates, handle conflicts, and contribute to group success. Example: I believe strong team dynamics start with communication and mutual respect among all players.
Next, athletic commitment. This means your dedication to training, improvement, and the sport itself. You might say, "My athletic commitment includes training 6 days a week and constantly working to improve my technique."
Here's a crucial one: academic athletic balance. This is about managing your time between sports and studies. For instance, maintaining academic athletic balance requires strict scheduling and prioritizing both my education and training equally.
Don't forget leadership on and off the field. This covers how you guide teammates and represent your team in the community. Example: I show leadership on and off the field by mentoring younger players and volunteering at youth sports camps.
And finally, injury recovery and resilience. This is about bouncing back from setbacks, whether physical injuries or performance slumps. You could say, "My experience with injury recovery taught me that resilience and mental toughness are just as important as physical strength."
Perfect. Now for our second interview, we'll hear from Coach Robinson and Jordan, a talented soccer player applying for an athletic scholarship.
Jordan, welcome. I've been looking forward to meeting you. I watched some of your game footage. Very impressive stuff. How are you feeling about being here today?
Thank you, Coach Robinson. I'm honestly pumped to be here. This program has been my dream school since I was in middle school. I used to watch your team's championship games on repeat.
Well, that's great to hear. Tell me, what position do you primarily play, and what do you think sets you apart from other players at your level?
I'm primarily a midfielder, but I've played as a forward when the team needed it. What sets me apart isn't just my speed or ball control, though I work hard on those. It's my field vision. I can read the game and see plays developing before they happen. My high school coach calls me the quarterback of soccer.
Interesting analogy. How has that translated into your statistics this past season?
This season, I had 12 goals and 18 assists in 22 games. But honestly, I'm more proud of the assists. Creating opportunities for my teammates to succeed, that's what gets me excited. We went from a 6-14 record my freshman year to 19-3 this season, and I think my playmaking ability was a big part of that turnaround.
Those are impressive stats. So, let's talk about academics. How do you manage to keep your grades up while training and competing at such a high level?
It's all about time management and priorities. I carry a 3.7 GPA while taking honors classes. During the season, I do homework on the bus to away games, and I study during lunch breaks. My parents always told me that being a student comes before being an athlete, so education is non-negotiable for me.
That's the kind of attitude we love to hear. So, have you had to deal with any major challenges or injuries during high school?
Actually, yes. Junior year, I tore my ACL in the third game of the season. I was absolutely devastated because I thought my soccer career was over. The recovery took 8 months of physical therapy, but it taught me so much about mental toughness and patience.
How did you cope with that on a mental level?
Honestly, I went through a dark period for about a month. But then I decided to use the time productively. I studied game film obsessively, worked with our junior varsity team as an assistant coach, and focused on upper body strength training. When I came back senior year, I was actually a smarter player than before the injury.
That shows real maturity. Now, tell me about your leadership style with teammates.
I lead by example mostly. I'm always first to practice and last to leave. But when someone's struggling, I pull them aside privately rather than calling them out in front of everyone. Last year, our freshman striker was having confidence issues after missing some crucial shots. I spent extra time with him after practice, and he ended up scoring the winning goal in our regional semifinal.
That's excellent leadership. And how do you handle pressure situations during games?
I actually thrive under pressure. The bigger the moment, the more focused I become. In our state championship game, we were down 2-1 with 10 minutes left. Instead of panicking, I gathered the team and reminded everyone that we'd trained for exactly the situation. I ended up assisting both goals in our 3-2 comeback victory.
Impressive. And looking ahead, how do you see yourself contributing to our program both athletically and academically?
Athletically, I bring versatility and game intelligence. I can adapt to different formations and always put team success above personal stats. Academically, I am planning to major in sports management because I want to stay involved in athletics after my playing career ends. I'd love to mentor younger student athletes and maybe even coach someday.
That's a great long-term vision. Last question. What would receiving this scholarship mean to you and your family?
This scholarship would be life-changing. My parents have worked multiple jobs to support my soccer development, and they've never complained. But I know the financial stress is real. This opportunity would let me focus completely on being the best student athlete I can be while pursuing my dream of playing at the collegiate level.
Jordan, thank you for your time today. You've given us a lot to think about. We'll be making our final decisions within the next 2 weeks, and we'll contact all candidates directly.
Thank you so much, Coach Robinson. Whatever happens, I'm grateful for this opportunity to share my story with you.
That athletic scholarship interview had a completely different energy, didn't it?
Absolutely. Jordan did a great job showing he's not just an athlete, he's a complete student athlete. And did you notice how he balanced talking about his sports achievements with his academic commitment?
Exactly. And when Coach Robinson asked about his injury, Jordan didn't just focus on the physical recovery, he showed how he used that setback to become a better leader and student of the game.
That's key for athletic scholarships. Coaches want to see mental toughness and adaptability. Jordan also demonstrated something crucial. He put team success above personal glory. Those assist numbers and his story about helping the struggling freshman showed real leadership.
Quick tips for athletic scholarship interviews. First, know your stats, but be ready to explain what they mean for team success. Second, have a story ready about overcoming adversity. Coaches love resilience.
And third, show you're thinking beyond just playing sports. Jordan mentioned wanting to coach and study sports management. That long-term vision impressed Coach Robinson.
Perfect. Now let's move on to our final interview scenario.
Our final interview focuses on need-based scholarships. These conversations require a delicate balance. You need to be honest about your financial situation while also demonstrating your potential and determination.
Exactly. Need-based interviews aren't about who has the saddest story. They're about identifying students who will make the most of educational opportunities despite financial barriers. Let's cover some important vocabulary.
Vocabulary preview.
First, financial hardship. This describes serious money problems that affect your ability to pay for education. Example: our family's financial hardship began when my father was injured and couldn't work for 8 months.
Next, economic circumstances. This refers to your family's overall financial situation. You might say, despite our challenging economic circumstances, my parents have always prioritized education.
Here's an important one: return on investment. This means how you'll use your education to create value and give back. For instance, I see this scholarship as a return on investment in someone who will serve underserved communities as a nurse practitioner.
Don't forget financial responsibility. This shows you understand money management and won't waste the opportunity. Example: I've learned financial responsibility by managing my part-time job earnings to help with family expenses.
And finally, breaking the cycle. This means being the first in your family to achieve something, usually higher education. You could say, receiving this scholarship would help me break the cycle of limited educational opportunities in my family.
Great. For our final interview, we'll hear from Ms. Thompson from the Financial Aid Committee and Alex, a student applying for a need-based scholarship.
Good afternoon, Alex. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. How has your day been so far?
Good afternoon, Miss Thompson. It's been good, thank you. I actually had to leave work a bit early to be here, but my supervisor was very understanding when I explained it was for a scholarship interview.
You're currently working while in high school?
Yes, I work about 25 hours a week at a local diner. I've been there for 2 years now. Started as a dishwasher and worked my way up to server. The money helps my mom with rent and groceries since my dad hasn't been able to work consistently due to his back injury.
That's a significant responsibility. How has that affected your academic performance?
It's definitely challenging. I do most of my homework during slow periods at the diner or late at night after my shift. My GPA is 3.6, which I'm proud of considering the circumstances. I know it's not the highest, but I've never missed an assignment or failed a test.
That shows real dedication. Can you tell me more about your family's financial situation?
My mom works as a home health aide, and my dad does odd jobs when his back allows it. Together, they make about $35,000 a year for our family of 5. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my mom has been saving every penny she can for my college fund. But it's maybe $800 total. Without financial aid, college just isn't realistic for me.
I see you have younger siblings. How do you balance helping your family with your own educational goals?
I have twin brothers who are 10 years old. I help them with homework every evening before I go to work. Sometimes I feel guilty about wanting to go to college because I know my income helps the family. But my mom always tells me that education is the best way I can help everyone in the long run.
That's a mature perspective. What are you planning to study and why?
I want to study social work. Growing up in my neighborhood, I've seen how much families like mine struggle to navigate systems. Healthcare, housing assistance, food programs. Social workers were the ones who helped us when my dad first got injured, and we didn't know where to turn. I want to be that person for other families.
That's admirable. And how do you plan to manage college expenses beyond tuition?
I've researched everything thoroughly. I know I'll need to work study programs and probably keep a part-time job. I've already talked to the dining services department about work opportunities. I'm also planning to live in the most affordable dorms and use meal plans efficiently. Every dollar will matter.
And tell me, what would receiving this scholarship mean for your family?
It would change everything. Right now, if I go to college, my family loses my income, which would put them in a really difficult position. This scholarship would make it possible for me to pursue my education without putting my family at financial risk. It's not just about me. It's about proving to my little brothers that college is possible for them too.
How do you see yourself giving back in the future?
I plan to work in underserved communities, specifically helping families navigate financial crises. I also want to volunteer with organizations that help first-generation college students. I know exactly what it feels like to not understand how college works or how to pay for it. I want to be a mentor for kids like me.
And what makes you confident you'll succeed in college despite the challenges you've faced?
Honestly, because I've already been succeeding despite challenges. I've maintained good grades while working and helping raise my brothers. I've learned time management, responsibility, and how to prioritize. College will be hard, but it won't be harder than what I'm already doing.
That's a powerful point. Is there anything else you'd like our committee to know about you?
Just that I don't see my background as something to overcome. I see it as preparation. The skills I've learned from working and helping my family have made me resourceful, empathetic, and determined. I'm not asking for charity. I'm asking for an investment in someone who will absolutely make the most of this opportunity.
Well, Alex, thank you for such honest and thoughtful responses. Your maturity and determination really come through. We'll have our decisions finalized by Friday, and all applicants will be notified by email.
Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Thompson. This opportunity means the world to me. and I'm grateful you're considering my application.
That was really powerful. Alex handled a difficult topic with grace and honesty.
What I loved most was how Alex reframed their situation. Instead of just focusing on the hardship, they showed how their experiences taught them valuable skills: time management, responsibility, and empathy.
Exactly. And notice how specific Alex was about finances without oversharing. They gave concrete numbers and details that helped Miss Thompson understand the real need.
The key insight here: Alex didn't ask for charity, they positioned it as an investment. They clearly explained how they'd use the education and give back to others in similar situations.
Quick tips for need-based interviews. Be honest, but focus on your strengths. Show you understand money management, and always explain your plan for success in giving back.
And that's a wrap on our scholarship interview deep dive. We covered 3 very different types of interviews today.
Remember, whether it's academic merit, athletic ability, or financial need, the key is always the same. Tell your authentic story, show your potential, and demonstrate how you'll make the most of the opportunity.
Practice your stories, know your vocabulary, and remember, being nervous is totally normal. The interviewers want you to succeed.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. If this episode helped you, please share it with someone who might benefit from these tips.
Until next time, keep chasing those dreams and don't let anyone tell you that college isn't for you.
See you next episode on Max and Mia Podcast.